real high-class bout. It's on! It's on!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast here on Boss Rush Games. This is episode 110. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrick, and alongside me, as always, is the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone? Throwing up the X.
Jesse, I don't see Master Chief on that poster behind you. I see a bunch of fat guys in overalls and
There's a whole bunch of things over there.
dinosaur.
You can kind of see a Cuphead figure there.
I'm just kidding. Also joining us is the Colonel himself, Colonel Panic Joe Wilson.
Hiya.
And
Hey, in like 7 weeks, we're gonna have to do like a Halo episode.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized.
No, we're going to do that for episode 117.
There you
Episode
go.
117. We're going to do a Halo episode.
You realize that would have lined up almost perfectly with the launch of Series X and Halo Infinite?
Yes, it
Oh,
would have,
shit.
but guess what? It is not now. So,
Oh,
Yeah, that's when they wanted to,
Thanks a
to
lot,
release it, I think.
343.
yeah, jerks. Well, I mean, a lot of people were speculating that that the Xbox was going to launch that Saturday on 117.
yeah.
Hi,
Well,
that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what if they just do it on January 17th?
Well,
No,
it won't be ready.
that's not
Let's be
enough.
Also joining us is the lore archivist himself from Tower Casuals, Mr. Josh Finney.
Hey, what's up, guys? I promise eBay is not open this week.
That's not true.
It is true. It is absolutely true. My Twitter is open, and so is the moving company that I'm using. That's it.
That's fair. You know.
They just built
Trying to get my
Amazon.
instant quote, and they won't give it to me.
To be fair, my thing is open on purexbox.com where it says this is when you can pre-order the Xbox and here's where you can pre-order it, and I now have tabs saved on my phone in
I'm
5 different
so
places.
insanely nervous
I
about
know.
this.
I don't
Yeah.
even know why I'm panicking, but I'm panicking inside a little bit. Like I'm
The
just kinda
Colonel
like,
is influencing me.
I think about it pretty much like 4 or 5 times a day.
Colonel
Yeah.
Panic has me panicking right now.
We were
you
on our
guys-
way to the zoo today, and I was was talking to my wife. I'm like, Sana, we need to talk about this. I need to have you on the phone while I'm at work. She's like, is this about that damn Xbox? I'm like, yeah, sure is. She's like, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm like, there's no way
Yeah,
we could
see,
put it a
My
plan.
significant other is going to be asleep because she works nights, so I am in this by myself.
So this morning, this is kind of a side tangent, but not really. I feel like it's an omen or a precursor. So Target has 3 exclusive Mega Constructs Halo sets that they're like coming out with, right? There's an energy
Oh
sword.
god,
Yeah,
I got the
saw
energy
them.
sword. Yes.
There's a miniature model of like part of a Halo ring,
Uh-huh.
and then there's a Master Chief helmet. And I have the 2. I have the sword and the little miniature, but the helmet has been out. I would say very confidently, it's never been in stock. This morning, like I'm looking at my phone and I get an alert and it says, "Hey, this item that you're watching is back in stock." So I'm like, "Oh shit!" So I start to check it out, but then I realize that we have a Target red card, but it's under my wife's name. So I immediately text her. I'm like, "Order this right now. It's going to sell out." And like as I text her and she's sending it, she's like, and she put it in her cart and she's like, "It's out of stock when I got the checkout." And I'm like, and I frantically try to like order it, like, because I didn't want to pay for shipping. If you have a red card, you don't have to pay for shipping plus you get
Yeah.
that 5% off or whatever. I really didn't want to pay for the shipping. That's the real problem. And fuck me, next time I'm just going to pay for shipping.
Yeah, I ran into that a few weeks ago. I was trying to get something. They now sell things at Target from Galaxy's Edge from
okay.
Disneyland, and they put up a Black Series figure that I really wanted. And I tried 4 different times in the middle of the night to get this goddamn action figure, and it didn't. It kept going away every time I was going to check out. So I was like, all right, that's it. I'm making a Target account. I'm putting my card in, so I just have to hit one
Ready to
click
go.
order. I smashed that button so fast that I didn't realize I set it for in-store pickup, and it defaulted to the one in my town, which is like 20 minutes away, and not the good Target either. It's like, oh my god, okay, fine. It's supposed to come in like a week. It'll be delivered to store. That's fine. I'm out of town, and they message for 3 days, and they message me, your item arrived early. You have to pick it up by this date, or your order will be canceled.
Right.
It is the day I'm coming back in town. I got there 30 minutes before close.
That's awesome.
I can't do Target. I can't do Target for these consoles. I just can't do it.
I know. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm about
I want
ready
to go to
just
Best Buy, but I don't know
Best
how
Buy,
it
baby.
works.
Best Buy. Let's go.
Do you know how that works though? Because I haven't like pre-ordered anything from there in like so long.
I know.
All right, so I did one of my Xbox Ones. I did my One S and my Switch, and my Zelda Master Edition all through there.
Okay.
What you do is, we've got conflicting info on this because Laurent says he wasn't able to do this. But the last time, every time I've ordered a console, I've been able to order it for in-store pickup.
Okay.
Now, they usually do a midnight opening, but I know they're not doing midnight openings with COVID. But you should be able just to go in and pick it up in the morning at open.
Okay.
Or you can set it to be delivered to your house.
Okay.
I'm doing in-store pickup because
Yeah.
I plan on wielding the powers of the darkness by 3 p.m. Central Time that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. By the way, Hypecaster himself, Mr. Antonio Guillen, is in the chat, and he says, if I don't get an Xbox Series X, I'm going to die.
Yeah, dude, I genuinely, I'm trying to get, for anybody listening to 2 doesn't know, my plate is twofold. I need to get an X and an S ordered. So I'm going to be on the phone trying to order the X through Best Buy, and I'm going to be in line at GameStop with my best friend, trying to order S's for our wives and girlfriends, respectively.
Oh my gosh, I'm just driving me nuts. I mean,
I'm so terrified.
I think
I'm
it's
only happy there's no special editions of games that I need right now. There's no Halo coming out, so I don't have to worry about that on top of this.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
That'll be a sleepless night for another month.
I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe really soon, thanks to Best Buy.
So if anybody is watching or listening to this is basically all we're talking about tonight. Is basically how panicked we are to get this Xbox Series X, and like the PS4, the PS5 situation, and how we hope that the Xbox situation does not turn out like this.
It's already better. It is already better.
Is it though? Because now people had like
Yes.
3 weeks to set bots up to get them all.
I feel like, but like, so first off, there's the whole all access thing. A bot can't do that. So like, you're gonna have to put in very sensitive information. I'm sure it's gonna have to do a couple of other things. So that alone, I feel like it levels a lot of that off. You're right about bots for certain things, but I feel like just knowing that there's a time and that there's gonna be people that are actually sitting in front of a keyboard, they're going to be like trying to get this stuff, is better than randomly Walmart at like an hour after the actual event saying it's going to be the next day. Like it's not lulling me into a sense of security. At least I know to put all my resources into a time.
So yeah, there's that, and I'm looking for it right now. But Jeff Keighley had something from Microsoft that he posted the other day that insinuated that Microsoft basically was telling retailers that if you break the embargo time for pre-orders, we're going to take away a good chunk of your stock and give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It's from like a day or two ago, but I want to see exactly what it says, so I'm not misquoting him.
So did we get a
hilarious.
time? Did we get a time as to when it was going to go live?
10 a.m. Central.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I have it up here. United States is 8 a.m. Pacific time through Microsoft Store, Amazon, Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, and Newegg.
And Costco.
Oh, really? It doesn't say Costco on this list, but
Costco is having them at 8 a.m. I asked because that's my ultimate fail-safe, is to use my dad's Costco
well,
card.
look,
I have a Costco. I might actually do that.
I just texted my mom. I said, if you can be at Sam's Club when they open, it'd be great.
Okay, so Jeff Keighley goes, I've heard Xbox will be penalizing retailers by lowering applications if they break embargoes, so please God, let these hold.
I've never this is the first time I've ever gotten a non-Nintendo system at launch, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I've never had an Xbox at launch. I've never had a PlayStation at launch. I've never had a Sega at launch. I got my Dreamcast the day it went to $99, and I got Sonic Adventure 2, Blue Stinger, and something else with it.
Checker on radio.
No, it was NFL 2K2.
Oh.
And NBA 2K2.
Oh.
Oh man, I remember GameStop had a promotion one time that if you traded in, I forget what console it was, but you had to trade in that and I think it was like 5 or 7 games, right? And then you got like the next console coming out was for like $100, or maybe it was 200. I forget. But I remember going through there, and I only had like a couple games that I had to trade in. And I remember going through and buying like every $1.99 sports game, and like buying like here's 7, and it was like $14 worth of games. And then like the next time that happened, they had a stipulation that it could not be like these sports titles. And I was like,
any sports title
like
over
me.
like 6 years old or 6 months old or something.
I loved it.
Yeah, it also
worked.
says like no titles whose trade-in value are less than 99 cents or something.
Yeah, which is most of their titles anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could trade in Gears Tactics the next day. We'll give you $1.15 for it.
If I had a copy of Halo Infinite right now, they wouldn't give me 99 cents for it. Like,
Yeah.
You get a $30 guarantee.
I know.
By the way,
$27.
by the way, I am so excited for Gears Tactics. I am so
I know.
excited for Gears Tactics. Even though I've played like the first like 5 hours on PC, yes, I know, but I'm playing on my 60-inch TV in there at 4K, 60 frames a second, ray tracing. Jack is on my team with Thrashball Cole. If I don't,
I really like while we're talking about Gears Tactics, so just as an aside, the launch trailer this week for that, I was really excited for, because they were like, yeah, if you pre-order the game, you get these bonuses, but if you get it on Game Pass, you get them given to you automatically.
yeah,
I really hope that they do more things like that, because I mean, if you're playing on Game Pass,
they've been
I
doing
think
it.
they will.
I've never seen that. That's all I'm saying.
They did it
I've
with
just never
Gears
seen it.
5 with like the Terminator pre-order pack and like you got
they did.
extra like in-game currency like gearbucks or whatever. I don't know what they're called.
There's really no downside to them doing stuff like that,
Cog
because if
coins.
you cancel your membership, they get it back.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
COG coins.
I just haven't played a game where they've done that. So that's pretty cool. I didn't hear about it with Gears. Maybe people just didn't care about the Terminator.
I mean,
But
did anybody really care about the Terminator? No. The last time anybody was concerned about the Terminator was when he showed up in Mortal Kombat and it was actually Arnold. His face, not his voice.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it really just depends on, like, sometimes they just have some weird tie-in stuff that's just kind of like people just kind of overlook it. But yeah, like that's the thing, is like, like games like Gears Tactics and I'm hoping very shortly after launch we'll get Flight Simulator and stuff, because like
I think they're going to hit you every
have a
couple months.
PC.
I think Flight Simulator is going to come like soon after launch.
My personal conspiracy is that they've got some announcements still lined up, because we don't know the exact launch lineup yet.
Yeah,
I think Xbox.
I have a feeling.
Okay.
Oh, I see. I had a feeling that we might get something Monday dropped before launch. Before they start the pre-orders. I mean. Yeah. But also like, yeah, because I kind of was thinking that it would have been this weekend, but.
Well, here's the confirmed launch titles for November 10th. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Smart Delivery, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, Fortnite, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Just Dance 2021, Marvel's Avengers, Observer, Tetris Effect Connected, The Falconeer, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Watch Dogs Legion. Potential launch day titles are Borderlands 3, Black Ops Cold War, Call of the Sea, Control, Crossfire X, Dead by Daylight, FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Orphan of the Machine, Outriders, which, am I the only person that's kind of excited for Outriders?
No, I'm stoked for more Outriders, but there's no way that game's not a Q1 2021 game right now.
Yeah. Overcooked, All You Can Eat Edition, Paradise Lost, Planet Coaster Console Edition, which I'm stoked for.
Yes. Yes.
Poker Club. Here's the thing, Planet Coaster, like I'm planning on buying one game at launch, right? And it was going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If Planet Coaster is within the launch window of the Xbox Series X, I will gladly wait on Assassin's Creed Valhalla for Planet Coaster. Let me tell you. Sea of Thieves, The Ascent, The Medium, Rainbow Six Siege, and WRC 9 are the potential launch day titles.
So the only two that are missing out of there that I voiced this opinion a couple of weeks ago on our Series S price reactions. I firmly believe that Flight Sim and or Age of Empires is also going to be a launch day title. Just because, I mean, what does that cost you? That's a PC game that you're just dropping. So is Gears Tactics. You might as well just, like, why not have Flight Sim there to show people why you need to buy the most powerful console? Mm-hmm. That is a perfect Game Pass game, I think, because I don't think a lot of console gamers want to drop $60 on that, but they'll gladly play it in Game Pass so they can fly over their house and fly to Disneyland.
Especially if they can show that it can play on the Series X without any issues. That's a big deal because right now there's a lot of powerful PCs that are having a hard time running that game.
Well, and so that's my biggest thing is, like, I'm glad you brought up the power, because everything that they've released the last couple of weeks has been Series S, Series S, Series S, which on one hand is really good. Don't get me wrong. You need to stoke those fears. Because I think a lot of people, especially when the specs were released, are like, oh, God, the RAM is going to hold the system back. And every demo that we've seen since then has been running in real time on Series S. Like the quick resume, the quick load times, the Dirt 5 demo that came out the other day, like all that's running on Series S. Cool, we're getting all the backwards compatibility deals. Like Jason Ronald is out there making all the rounds talking about that to everyone. Mm-hmm. You got to show stuff on Series X, though. You are 7 weeks from launch, and you have yet to show us anything running on Series X outside of the Medium. That's the only thing we've gotten. Show me Gears Tactics. Show me Forza Horizon 4 or something. Show me something at least. But do a side-by-side where you're showing it on Xbox One X versus Series X. Show me that comparison.
Show me the load times, too. Show me those load times.
They did the load time comparison in...
They did it for Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds.
They compared the Series S to the One S. Series S loaded that game in 9 seconds. It took a full minute on the One S, which can confirm it takes a long time to load on that console.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so things like that, I mean, we don't need to see that for every game, but I think like that, showing the quick resume between 4 or 5 titles as quickly as it was, those are all big to me. Especially when you're loading between some pretty big single-player games like Forza and Forza. You had Skate thrown in there, you had Black thrown in there, so it showed up between all the generations also. Fallen Order was on there too, I believe, and Minecraft Dungeons. I mean, those are all cool things, but you really got to start showing the power of this console if you're going to run around pumping your chest that you have the most powerful console ever in a living room, because the Halo Infinite demo begs to differ.
Yeah, like
just running on PC.
I'm one of the few, but I absolutely loved Far Cry 5. And like I would like to see Far Cry 5 for sure. I thought we heard something about them bringing some of those games forward and making better versions of them for Xbox and stuff. But that game is one of them that I can think of off the top of my head, and like Red Dead that take like what feels like a half an hour to load.
Yeah.
And so if I want to see those games like that are notoriously take like 5 or 10 minutes to load and see how fast those games will boot up, you know, like I want to see I want to see that kind of stuff. You know, like show us what exactly, like the longest game that takes a load, just show us how quick something like that will load up.
The 3 big ones to me that they need to show, and fairly quickly, are they need to show how fast Sea of Thieves can load, because that game can take an eternity to boot up into a game.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 4, if you access DLC, I literally have enough time to go make a sandwich and go to the bathroom and come back, and it's still not loaded up into Fortune Island or into Lego. And come on, let's be honest. Destiny 2. Show us how long it takes to boot the game up to character select, and then how long it takes me to fly to the tower.
I know, gosh. I'm so, like, I booted up Destiny today while my kid was napping, and I'm like, Oh my gosh, she's gonna wake up before this thing even loads me in.
It's so bad. It's become nigh unbearable. So just give it to me, guys.
I think they're probably not showing much of that, because if they show you a good, like a best case scenario of this game loading this quickly, that's going to be different if you're playing off a disc.
That's true.
So they would have to really specify, being like, hey, this is when the game's loaded on the SSD, and it's loaded.
Oh, yep, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying now. Why they've been showing those things on the Series S then, because that's all digital.
Yeah.
It's
there's no performance discrepancies.
Yeah. Someone
can't
claim you're just running it off of a disc.
Correct.
But gameplay, guys, gameplay, please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Show me those up-res games. Show me the comparisons there.
Show me Black running at like 120 frames a second in 4K.
So
This is remastered.
One of the things I was really happy with the Jason Rowland interview that came out this week was he was specifying that the resolution will be doubled on original Xbox games and on 360 games. So 360 games that were at 720p will now run at 1440 max res.
Jeez.
The ones running at 480 will run at max 900p, I believe, or maybe go up to 1080. I don't remember what he said. He said that one's a little bit different, but that the frame rates will also be up-res for these games unless they were at a locked frame rate on the original consoles. Okay. So he's like, basically, if something was locked to 300 frames, 900p, that it can't be upgraded. But he's like, there is power in there to upscale these games automatically. The devs don't have to do anything for it.
Okay.
And the Dirt 5 devs were saying the same thing, too. They did an interview, I think it released earlier today, actually, where they were saying for the development kits, they just develop for the Series X, and then there's a scaled-down mode in there. There's a Series S mode, the Lockhart mode, as it was being called. They said all that happens there is it takes out some of the textures, some of the extra weather effects. In their case, it takes out some of the fans in the stands. Not all of them, but it cuts them by like a third or something. And they're like, really, unless you're eagle-eyed, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Yeah. So it's like, all right, like, cool. I still want to see how these games run side by side, but I really that's reassuring to me, at least for a launch title. This may very well be an issue 3.5 years down the line, but right now, there's nothing wrong with that.
My whole thing is like, I really, at some point, I would like to have both consoles. I would like an S in my office and an X on my TV out in the living room. You know, if we're going to start streaming stuff and recording gameplay stuff, and Jesse, I know we want to get back to the Game Pass thing. And, Joe, we've talked about doing video stuff for, like, parents and stuff and trying to do that video series or whatever. Like, I would like to have one. I don't want to move a 10-pound box every time I want to record something. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
That's a beefy brick.
That's why for right now, like I told you all, like I'm buying both boxes. The S will go in the bedroom for Chelsea to play on her days off, and the X will live out in the living room until I buy another TV for the office, and I move the X into there and the S out there, so we can just have streaming out on the TV and whatnot, and our bedroom can finally be video game free for the first time ever. That is my ultimate goal in the next 12 months, is to get all consoles out of the bedroom. No Switch docks, no Xboxes, nothing. Just an Apple TV, and I get to move on with my life.
So, the only thing that... I'm actually going to look into this right now. So, we have 2 Apple TVs in our house. I have a PlayStation 4, and I have obviously an Xbox here at my computer. Now, the Apple TV, there is now an Apple TV app on the Xbox.
There's an Apple TV app on my Samsung TV also.
And if I'm not mistaken, it imports your catalog as well as that other content.
It does.
So I don't know if I need my Apple TVs anymore.
You don't.
So I could theoretically sell both my Apple TVs, and there is already $300.
Yeah.
Okay. This is legit a game changer for me. I own 400 movies through iTunes.
Yeah, I own a lot too.
I went pretty much. I still own a lot of physical movies. Like if I buy a code, it immediately gets put in, and that's usually what we watch. I'm just paranoid about media being delisted. So every single movie we watch is on there, and I'm so tired of having to go through because the Vudu app sucks.
Yeah.
Prime Video app sucks. The Microsoft Movies and TVs app, say it with me, it sucks.
Sucks.
But let me tell you something. The Apple TV interface is so fucking clean. Like, that's half the reason I still use it all the time, I think, there's one thing to be said. Apple's UIs are very slick and very sleek, and they remind me a lot in a way of the Xbox UI. Like how it looks when you go into your game collections or into your pins, your apps, etc. It reminds me very much of what an Apple interface would look like. But if you're telling me that that's actually an app on Xbox, this is a game changer. Like I will legit sell my second Apple TV and move my 4K one into the bedroom.
Well, it's also if you have a smart TV, they also have a smart TV app too.
I don't like TVs on smart apps. Or smart apps on smart TVs, not TVs on apps. I don't care for the built-in ones.
So, like, I use Movies Anywhere, the Movies Anywhere app. Yeah, and that you can that's been on Xbox for a long time. And you can use that, I believe, on Xbox. And because that I love that just because like then it grabs all the movies that I buy from either the Xbox store or Vudu or or if you buy from Apple TV or whatever, and it pulls it all into the one app, which is good most of the time. There has been a lot of movies or things that I bought that don't come over to it because they just don't have the rights. Rights or aren't selling that particular thing. Like obviously there's a lot of TV shows that I bought or whatever have through like Xbox that it can't pull into it. But I like my hope is too that like moving forward that they do actually bring the like some kind of app to be able to watch your content that you buy from your Xbox on the Android phones and stuff, because they still don't have like the movies and TV app or anything for Android that you can like look at your Xbox bought stuff from the store, which I kind of hope with this this kind of deals that they've been doing with them that will change. Because I bought the whole entire series of The Fringe through Xbox because it was like on sale for like $20. It's like normally $130 or something, and that was such a good deal, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time. So I just bought it through that because it was such a steal. But the only downfall is I can't watch it on my phone.
One of the big problems with that, like just real quick, is the rights for how TV shows are produced are so scattered. Like something can air on Fox but be made by Sony or by NBC technically. And so because of that, like they have different agreements with all these stores, like that's why they can't tap in this, they can't do a service like Movies Anywhere. And that's where Ultraviolet was really helpful. I bought it one place and I could watch it anywhere. I'd rather Movies Anywhere now because I can bring my Apple TV library over to my other devices. But that's why we can't do it, and it is really annoying. I have a whole lot of complete series on Apple I'd like to import.
That's just like there's a lot of TV shows and stuff that you can watch through like Netflix in other countries, but we don't have the rights to them here in the US. So,
I don't know, man. I'm just I have all these bookmarks in my phone saved. I have all these apps like still open and on the product page. It's just like it's driving me nuts, man. I wish it was Tuesday already and I could just relax, but
oh man, less than 48 hours, guys. About 36 hours, and our nightmare will hopefully be over.
Next Sunday, we will all either be very happy or very sad, or a combination of
mixture.
I'm like, the thing too is like, I think depending on where I pre-order, like I'm gonna keep some pre-orders if my friends don't get them. That way, like, my friends can just send me the money and I'll just send them the box. Hopefully.
Well, today we went to Target, and I'm not kidding you. This is the first time in the whole beginning of this year, practically, that I've seen any Xboxes whatsoever for sale in the cases. Like, which makes me nervous around here. Is that does that mean that a lot of people around here buy Xboxes? Because there's been plenty of PlayStations, in the stores for people to buy. But Switches and Xboxes are like gone like all the time here. So
Yeah.
Well,
makes me nervous.
we talked to, I think we spoke about it last time, but like the Xbox is like, even if you look online for the prices of an Xbox One X, it's like more expensive than it normally is.
Yeah.
So
they've discontinued the S, and I believe they've now officially discontinued the S as a result of the announcement of Series S. So the consoles were already few and far between. They basically just said, okay, well, we have to shut down manufacturing now. So they went ahead and got ahead of the curve. Like, Sony's still manufacturing PS4s, but Microsoft was like, screw it, we're using a lot of the same components. We're just going to switch the assembly lines over and start making these earlier. So that's why, like, they're going to have a bit more stock, I think. And frankly, I don't think there's as much of a demand to get an Xbox day one as there is for a PS5. There's not Spider-Man coming for it or Halo.
See, when I went to GameStop today. I went to go pick up our food, and I stopped by the GameStop that's by where we went to get food, and I stopped in. I was like, I asked them what their procedure was going to be like, and they're like, well, we open at 11. It's kind of first come, first serve. We don't know how many we're getting, but there has been a lot more people asking about PlayStation 5 than Xbox in this store. And I'm like, okay, well, it gives me a little bit of hope, but my lunch still starts at 11, and
yeah.
But, I mean, that gives me hope. I mean, and they said they did expect to have more Xboxes on hand than they did PlayStations. They got 10 physical PlayStation 5s and 4 digital at my GameStop. That's it. Now they're done until November, they said. They're not taking any more
I've
pre-orders.
heard between 14 and 20 is what GameStops were getting, and
for what, Xbox or PlayStation?
For PlayStation. That the digital version was inherently the least supplied. Like, for every console they were getting, it seemed like for every disc, or for every 4 disc based, they were getting 1 digital. Is about what it was equaling in big cities like San Francisco and New York per GameStop.
Yeah.
Like, the digital versions, Walmart had a restock a couple nights ago. I think it was on Friday night. They had a restock, and the disc and digital versions both went up there and at GameStop. The digital sold out within, I saw something like 15 seconds it sold out. The disc one stayed up for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I think digital is also, like, not that people necessarily want to go digital. Like, I had a discussion with Logan Corkins about this the other day, and he was saying that, well, for people like us who, we have a lot more money than, like, teenagers going out to buy a console, or college-age students. Like, we buy our games, we don't mind keeping them forever, and this and that. I said, well, I think a lot of people are appealed to the digital one because it's $100 cheaper. Let's be honest. Like, they want that console. I want it because it's cheaper.
Yeah. Well, for me though, like, I personally think it's cheaper in the long run for me to get the disc one, just because I don't have anything from PS4. So I have zero catalog. So therefore, actually, it's cheaper for me.
But if you do get the digital one, though, you get the PlayStation 5 Instant, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Instant Collection, which is like all the best PlayStation 4 games. Which is like, why did I even buy
minus The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima? You get
which will be on there at some point eventually. I guarantee it.
Yeah, but like, if I want to get games for it, though, it's so much cheaper for me to just go and buy old, like 3, 4, 5-year-old game like disc.
Actually, because they are doing backwards compatibility, you could just buy them on the digital storefront from your computer.
Well, yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like, just wait for the sale on them and buy them then. Sony's really generous about their sales.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the thing is I wouldn't be beholden to for them to put it on sale, though. I can because like if you go on like a lot of those games, they still are like at $20-$30, like some of the older stuff, or well, like old like 360 games I think usually run like around $8 to $12 to buy it on, you know, new on the store or on digital on the store. But where I could, like, some of those games I can get for like $6 or something, you know, used.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's my thing. My thinking is just like, if I really wanted to get stuff like right away and, you know, save money on it, it's just going to be cheaper for me most times, I feel like, to get it used.
Is it is it true that you can't play PS4 games with a PS5 controller?
Correct.
Yes.
That seems
Wait, what?
Wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have a
with the
PlayStation
PS4.
4, you have to buy a controller if you want to play one of those games.
That's why they reissued
What?
like a whole bunch of the limited colors. They reissued them in September because I was like,
So, I do wonder if the ones that are part of the PS Plus collection, if they're going to still hold you to that, because I think that would be kind of shitty, frankly.
yeah.
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
it's
Because they're
then you-
advertising that as a PS5 feature. So,
So I have my plan was to get rid of both my PlayStation 4 Pro and my Xbox One X to buy one of like a second console, whatever comes my way.
Yeah.
But now I have two PlayStation 4 controllers. So if I want to continue to play any of the racing games or anything, when I trade one in, I'm gonna have to buy another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to trade my
ass backwards.
I want to trade my I want to trade my
Jesus.
PlayStation 4 Pro in towards this thing, but I only have one controller. The black one that came with the console is dead. It's broken. Doesn't work. And I have one of those really cool orange and blue ones that like I don't want to get rid of.
You have to buy one.
I know.
buy a used controller and just slap it on there.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I'm probably gonna have to do, right? But like, I'm just like,
Those are how. But like, think about this though. We all know that this shit happens. Is like, you're gonna go into GameStop and there's not gonna be a single used PlayStation 4 controller because either everyone's buying a PlayStation 5 and they want one, or they're in the same boat we are.
I
You can't
genuinely
trade one
know
in.
how many people are going to, not to cut you off, I wonder how many people are going to log in day one, like how many kids are going to log in at Christmas or something and go to play something on the PS Plus collection and realize they can't because they don't have a PS4 controller.
A lot.
every single
Yeah,
person.
see, that's what makes me think that they have to at least let you use the PS5 controller for those, because
They announced it.
because if they lock those behind having to have a PS4 controller, that's bullcrap.
Yeah.
You might as well not even give it to people then.
But
It's pretty bad.
is that only worked with the PlayStation 5 though? Is that collection of thing, or is that also going to be part of the PlayStation 4?
From what I understand, that's a PS5 thing. Because it's meant to let people play the best hits of the generation, in their words, if they didn't have a console.
Well, then where's the Order 1886?
Listen, I like the Order, okay?
I
There'll
do
be
too.
no
I have
Order
a
slander in
Galahad
this
statue
chat.
right here. Me show.
Although I was really giddy when they showed that, what's it called? Until Dawn is going to be on there.
See that? See that guy? See that guy?
Solid 6.5.
Yeah.
It's great.
If they would have just totally ripped off Gears of War, they would have had a game.
I agree.
They got halfway there.
They did get halfway there.
The
And
like
it was
when
very cinematic. I like cinematic games.
when you
so-
actually got to the shooting parts, it felt really good to shoot stuff. But it was like, oh, let's shoot 3 guys and then have like 45 quick time events
And that game completely
And-
tanked Ready Dawn.
and dangling werewolf dongs. Don't need
So
that.
I was
forgot
thinking about that the
That's
other
so
day. Quick time. I wonder if a lot of quick time things in games are just loading screens, basically, like loading the next part of the map up while you're doing the quick time things.
I want this stranger statue. So
Because like I'll be like I hate quick time in anything, including the Tomb Raider games were amazing, but the stupid quick time things sometimes, we're just like, I don't
If
want
you
to do
hate
this.
QuickTime events, do not play Avengers then.
yeah, Dude,
I didn't play.
I've been.
I haven't even
Corey,
seen
I beat the campaign
I haven't
last
even
night,
seen
and there's
any of the Avenger
so
movies.
many.
Yeah, I'm. Dude,
I
I'm
did-
like, I like the story of that game and everything.
I love the story. It's great.
I am struggling to play that game. Like, I did a couple more Iron Man missions, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, is this gonna end? Like, how many streets am I gonna have to like fly down to get to this hub to call down my Hulkbuster armor to destroy like an arc reactor thing? I'm like, it's frustrating.
So this is the thing. Like, I don't know that, I haven't played it, so I can't really, make an intelligent decision on this, whether it's true or not. But like, would you say in some ways that that game is kind of similar to like your what was the Hyrule, the ones where you're just battling like hundreds of enemies?
Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, like those kind of games where it's just very, very repetitive, like over and over again. I mean, like you're achieving something, but I don't know. It just seems to me like, because I don't know, with Destiny it feels different. Like there's it's a little bit more fun than like a game like that where you just kind of feel like you're mashing buttons. But like, to me, that's what that game almost feels like. It kind of somewhat is, with maybe a little bit more depth to it. And Dynasty Warrior type games are like the bane of my existence. They're like some of the games that I just cannot ever play because it just does not do a thing for me. Like, it's just too repetitive to the point of where, I don't know, I can't. Even with something like the, like the Hyrule one, and like even taking things that I like, putting it in it, just does not interest me in that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, it's weird when it comes to certain, repetitive type things. It's really got to be, there's got to be something to it that hooks me, or otherwise it just will completely get lost. Like, I just won't even give it, much time. Because, like, I mean, I'll be honest, I only played like 15, well, it was probably a couple hours. I maybe played like 3 or 4 hours of the first Destiny, and that's all I've ever played of it. And then, like, because when it first started out, it was just like, like we weren't quite used to that kind of stuff yet. Like, like I wasn't, at least. Like, I wasn't used to that kind of stuff, and it just felt so empty and so, like just not something that I thought I would ever get into, because I didn't understand it at the time. But now I love playing Destiny, and every once in a while jump in it by myself and just kind of can screw around doing absolutely nothing for hours, But a game like that it's got to have some kind of like something to it. But I felt like the Avengers game just seemed like there was too much repetitiveness to it that I don't think I would really be able to stick with, so, but I don't know. Is it kind of like that? Is it feel more button mashy, or is there enough depth to that game that it kind of holds your attention more?
Get it when it goes on sale if you're that iffy on it. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
It's really,
like
the campaign is fine, but it's really fun when you play with friends. I just don't know how much staying power it'll have.
Okay.
Do you think that the Avengers game was originally not a game as a service?
It kind of feels that way.
Man,
the campaign feels that way.
It really does. If you play the campaign, it definitely feels like it wasn't. I think they realized probably about 1.5 years ago, crap, we really need to add some more to this game.
Yeah.
I really like that all the DLC heroes are going to be free with their own mission chains for free. I like all of that. So like, I'll probably wait another 6 months. Like, I'm gonna give it maybe another week and a half. But the gear system sucks in this game. It's not even remotely fun. I'm not hunting for anything in specific. Buying anything from vendors is just pointless. I'm personally I love seeing the interactions between the characters. So I'll wait till like after Series X comes out because it really still needs a performance boost even after I installed a 13 gig patch the other night and it still is having issues. I at least was able to finish the campaign this time, but it still hard crashed on me twice.
Yeah.
2 missions. So
You're gonna need 2 Xboxes if you play Call of Duty and the Avengers game just for patches.
Yeah,
dude, I'm so frustrated with this game right now.
Speaking of needing 2 Xboxes and stuff, like when are we gonna find out the memory unit thing prices?
What do you guys think? 150 or 200 for it?
I think it's gonna probably be like 350.
See, I was gonna say 130 for 1 terabyte.
I'm going 100 for 1 terabyte.
Man, but like that's the going rate for a regular SSD.
Yeah.
But this is branded, so Xbox wants their cut, Seagate wants their cut.
So it's gonna be more than 100.
As far as I know, you can still use external hard drives. You just can't run the games from them like you can the memory unit.
You can
which is fine by me. I'd rather
you can't run any next gen games on it.
Yeah, you can still run your Xbox One games though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't like that.
It just won't do the fast loading stuff. That's
I don't care.
I
mean, if I'm
like,
going to play it that much, I'll transfer it to my internal drive.
Well, like, what about like Destiny?
So Destiny has smart delivery, so it'll be on your console regardless.
It'll be in Game Pass.
Yeah,
from what I know.
Yeah, it comes to Game Pass on Tuesday.
My thing is like I would really like to just have like a full hard drive just of my backwards compatible games. Like that's all that's on one hard drive, and then the other one will be like storing Series X versions of games, and then I'll just have to switch them back and forth until I can get like one memory stick. But like games that are going to be on my console all the time, like Destiny's just going to stay on my console. You know, like I don't know.
Well, still, dude, I have a 4 terabyte hooked up to my One X right now, and it's full.
Jesus Christ!
It's full.
I have a 2
my
terabyte built in, and I still have 600 gigs free. I play a game and I delete it.
Well, the 5 terabyte Western Digital black drive is $128 on Amazon. The 5 terabyte one.
I'm probably going to buy an external hard drive in the coming weeks just to pull off the games I know for sure I'll play again, like Sea of Thieves and Grand Theft Auto, Destiny, things like that, so I don't have to reinstall all of that on the opening week. Because even with the unlimited internet, like Corey, you and I were talking about this before everybody got in here, but my biggest fear is getting my console late on launch day and rushing to not only get the UI patch that is inevitably going to happen. I'm having flashbacks to the Xbox One launch night when it took me 2 hours to get into Battlefield 4.
Yep.
And having to download the Beyond Light patch for Destiny because I won't be able to do that before I dump it onto the external since I'm selling my consoles a few days ahead of time to get the value on them. I'm just like, this is a worst case nightmare scenario for me, is to be trying to play a game as a service the day that a console launches, the day that the new patch comes out. There's going to be problems, and I'm going to be waiting in a queue to play this stupid freaking game.
Yeah,
Call of the Sea better be out so I have something to play while I'm waiting in line.
Yeah, probably like a couple days before I'm moving Destiny and a couple other games over that I know I'm going to want to play day one, and then after the console sets up, I'm going to be like, okay, download the patch for Destiny. Probably won't play the first night just because, like, I'm sure, it's a Tuesday, so I'll have, I don't know, I don't do shows on Tuesdays anymore. Sweet. Never mind. I'm playing games.
I'll be working.
I mean, I'll hit, like, I have to produce the live show for Crossroads on Tuesday nights, but, like, I will be like, all right, guys, going to play some Xbox. I have a next-gen console, and you guys are still sitting here talking about it, so see you later.
So my game plan would be as soon as I actually have a pre-order, I'm going to then take the day off work. But now I'm starting to think that maybe I don't take that Tuesday off, but maybe I take that Wednesday off.
Or that Friday.
This is what I did for Shadowkeep last year. I took a half a day on the day that it actually came out, and I regretted even doing that because I couldn't even get into the game until almost like 4 o'clock Central, because it's the most overloaded those servers have ever been. You consider that with Series X launching that same day, the Series X servers are going to be a nightmare for that game. They've essentially made that their de facto launch title.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I personally
Gears Tactics. I feel like everybody's just sleeping on Gears Tactics.
No, nobody's. Corey, we're not sleeping on Gears Tactics, but are you going to tell me Gears Tactics is going to get more people excited than Destiny with 3 free expansions?
I'm just saying, Gears Tactics is there.
If you want to hop in and play with the homies day one, you're going to play Destiny.
You're right.
Or you're going to go play Sea of Thieves.
No, I'm Sea of Thieves. No, I'm not.
I'm not
playing Sea of
Gears
Thieves unless
Tactics with my
everybody's.
homies.
I just want to play Gears Tactics, man, and Destiny at the same time.
Listen,
that's why I'm going to have 2
Gears
boxes.
I really want to play Gears Tactics. I've been beating the drum of people are sleeping on this, but you give me a choice between that or Destiny. I'm going to Destiny, my man.
Well, everybody wants to play Destiny and Gears Tactics that first week because Cyberpunk comes out, 8 days later or something?
Yeah.
Yup, that's my plan. Gears Tactics may be waiting until December at this rate.
Does this mean Tower Casuals is going on hiatus on November 19th?
No, this means that I've already said this to people like John, that I plan on blowing through as much of Beyond Light as I possibly can. But I have a really bad feeling that the day that Cyberpunk comes out is the same day that Bungie is going to go, hey, by the way, here's the Deepstone Crypt raid, have fun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be forced to make difficult decisions that week.
I mean, that would be smart to keep people in the game, right? I mean,
I personally think that they're aiming to launch it Black Friday is when they're going to put out the raid. I think they want to avoid Cyberpunk at any and all costs.
I agree.
Cyberpunk Friday.
I mean, I'm not getting Cyberpunk, so like.
Are you really not getting Cyberpunk?
I mean, I don't. It looks cool, but it's.
This has been my. I'm not gonna lie. This has been my most anticipated game since it got shown at E3 2 years ago.
Like for me, it's like
Breath of the Wild 2 and Halo Infinite are the only two that are even remotely in the same conversation.
I mean,
with it.
The thing for Cyberpunk to me is like, theoretically, like CD Projekt Red has produced one amazing game in The Witcher. The Witcher 1 and 2 were good games, but they weren't like these critical like smash hits, right? Like The Witcher 3 took the Skyrim formula and like made it 1,000 times better.
After you produce a game of the generation contender, I think everybody's going to get excited for your next project, especially when they've been working on Cyberpunk for like 6 years.
Yeah, but it's just like I know I get that.
But that's also the style of game that I really want, like that kind of noir world. Like Blade. This is Blade Runner, the video game.
Yeah,
this is what I've always wanted. Like since I was 12 years old and saw Blade Runner for the first time, I've wanted a game like that, and I'm finally getting it.
So like it looks
Keanu Reeves.
It looks cool, like it looks cool, but I'm just gonna wait till it goes on sale like a couple months later.
That's fine. That's totally your prerogative. I just fully plan on like this and Destiny were gonna consume me this fall. So thank God Halo got delayed because more tough choices were gonna be made, and Destiny was not winning that fight.
Yeah.
I honestly equate like CD Projekt Red to a Bungie. Where I would say the same thing about them. I think The Witcher 2 is pretty underrated. I think it flew under the radar. I think it's a great game.
I thought it was good. Like I played it on 360. I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a fun game. Was it a 10? No. For me it wasn't a 10. It wasn't nearly as good as The Witcher 3 is.
No, but you're also talking about a game that came out way later after a team has grown and had time to evolve. The same way that I would say that, like...
That's true.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. But I will say that, like...
You mean, but...
That if you look at, like, the evolution of CD Projekt... Like, The Witcher, I would say, it's a great game. I would say it should be in a lot of people's top 10 list if they're... The only thing I guess about that is kind of like the theme of the game, or like the tone or the setting, the environment. If you're not into like the fantasy element, that absolutely is a turnoff for a lot of people.
Well, to me, I don't like fantasy games, and The Witcher is like the one game that drew me in.
No,
I think that's a testament to the world building. Then, Corey,
I agree.
I'm going to play devil's advocate with you for a second. So you say that you're not into fantasy, but The Witcher really drew you in. You like it so much you got it on the Switch.
I did. That's where I'm playing it.
Like, so I understand not being interested in Cyberpunk and it not being a day one title. That's totally cool. In 18 months, are you going to be eating those words and being like, "Yeah, this is an incredible game"?
I
probably should have picked this up at launch.
I might be.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
All I'm saying that is, like, I'm not saying it as like an attack or anything. I'm saying, like, I think that's a testament to CD Projekt Red's writing and world development skills. Is that if they can take a genre you're not interested and make you interested, I think I think it's warranted for the hype and the praise, because that happened with a lot of people that I saw. Like they're like, it's not like Skyrim. I don't want to. Not saying you were, but they're like, oh, it's not like Skyrim.
I only played an hour of Skyrim. I hated it. So
Skyrim is incredible. You shut your mouth.
I didn't even get out of that first town.
Skyrim is
I went down some stairs.
Pick up and play game I have ever played in my entire life.
Some dragging.
I like
down.
Elder Scrolls Online. Like that was the one that I got into the most, but then I fell off of it hard because it was just I didn't have the kind of free time I needed for that.
I was a Morrowind and Oblivion kid. Like, of course I was gonna like Skyrim.
Here's the thing. I rode on a cart for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, why does everybody love this game? I get off the cart, I look around, there's like this dragon burning all these buildings down, and it's like, run away was like the prompt at the bottom or something. So I'm like running around trying to figure out where to go. The dragon killed me twice because I had no idea where to go. And then I went down some stairs and met some people in like this jail thing, and I was like, I popped out somewhere on the other side. I'm like, well, this was dumb.
Then you get to do whatever you want to.
So someone needs to go through and play the opening of Skyrim, but have you narrate it with that description, because it is exact.
Yeah,
it's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's like the most blasé way to
describe. Joe, that's a new.
Like, I played through the opening of Skyrim at least 5 times on each different version and probably every console that's existed. So but that is what happens, and I can tell you after the first time, that's exactly how I feel. I will also say that game, after you get through that moment, probably like maybe an hour or two after that, is terrific. And I'm not a fantasy person. And I will also say that I'm not, like, when I played Breath of the Wild, I played through that almost like an action game. I didn't really do any crafting or anything like that. I would go and level up, and I would get, like, the Master Sword and stuff like that. But I didn't cook. I didn't do any potions or anything like that. I leveled up my character. And I think that's absolutely a way that game is intended to be played. When I went into Skyrim, I probably spent 40 hours just leveling up my smithing to max and like building the best armor, and then playing through that game being like basically invincible.
Joe is the exact opposite of me. I look at a sword, it's better, it's prettier, I pick it up, I continue on with my life. I have crafted very few things in that game, I think solely to get the achievements or to advance like the Fighters Guild quest line. And that's it. I did a lot more of that style stuff, smithing in Oblivion, I think.
The amount of steel knives that I've smithed in my Skyrim life. And so my routine was absolutely, I need to go find a mine. I need to get as much metal as possible. And then I get enough leather. And then I would go there and do it until I don't have anything. Then I'd sell all that crap. And I would go and do it again. And then eventually I would go and get the Daedric armor and build that whole set. I had to go and get like the parts.
I do like the Daedric armor.
But like my smithing, if you go on any of my Skyrim game saves, like I am max level blacksmith, and I have the best armor and the best sword and the best bow, and then you just walk around like a tank. But that's how I play Destiny. I with the Titan. That's how I play Halo, but Halo is kind of
here's the problem. I do the Dark Brotherhood quest line first, always. Because I always go in for stealth, speed, and assassination when I make a character. I'm an assassin running around with a broadsword, though. I do my assassinations by... Boom!
I love it.
Just chopping them down in the back or just like shouting them to death. And so I alert everybody and have to fight my way out. I love it. I love games that let you play any way you want. You don't have to play this specific way, but your time's going to be a hell of a lot easier if you play it this way.
I will say that in Skyrim, that is not a clear choice until you're about 2 or 3 hours into the game. Unlike like something that's so accessible like Breath of the Wild that it just you just start playing the way that you want to play. In Skyrim, you're just like, okay, I'm standing in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
See, that's why I got into Elder Scrolls Online so much, is because that felt so much more like just kind of like you figure it out. Like there's this big expansive world. You kind of figure out how you want your character to play or how you play, or that's why I think out of all of the games, like, because I played Oblivion, but I didn't play a whole lot of Skyrim. That one I kind of passed over, but then when Elder Scrolls Online came out, I jumped right into that right away. And then for a while there, I was like playing it for hours every day, like anytime I could get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like was teaming up with my cousin at one point who had bought an Xbox because he said on Facebook, he's like, who of my friends in here have are gonna play Elder Scrolls Online, and who's what console are you on? And I said I was on an Xbox, so I'm actually the reason that he got an Xbox is because me and him then could play Elder Scrolls Online together. But yeah, I was playing that a lot, and I just I wish I had that kind of free time, because I really do miss being able to stick time into games like that, or like Destiny, or or whatever. But I just can't, because I'm like a lot of times when I go on and I play something, a lot of times I'll maybe have like a half an hour maybe at the most a lot of the time. So like those kind of games, by the time it loads up and I figure out what I even want to do, well, now it's already my free time is gone. I've got something else I got to worry about, so I just my life isn't quite set up for that kind of stuff, and that's what worries me about Cyberpunk, because I really, really want that game and I want to play it, but it's probably going to take me like 2 years to finish it, or to even, finish at least just the main story.
They did say that the main story was shorter than The Witcher 3, which, let's be honest, that's a long...
Nice.
That's good.
But, Joe, just a side tangent, can we just make a video series of playing, like, the first half-hour games and just explaining how bad the opening of games are?
So, so a while ago, I kept trying to get people to go in on this idea with me, is I wanted to watch a movie trailer. So the movie's not out yet, just whatever trailer, the actual like official trailer, and then I wanted to rate the movie based on the trailer. Be like, this is what happens, this is my rating for this movie, knowing nothing, just presumptions. I think that same format should absolutely apply to be like, we're going to start a timer, you're going to be allowed to play 30 minutes into this game, and then you have to say whether or not you like it or not. I think absolutely we should play the first 30 minutes of a lot of games and then see how it is.
Well, let's do it. Let's add that to the list.
So I guess I'm playing Skyrim when the Xbox Series X launches. That's my first game. I'm going to download Skyrim. The old version,
the
not
360
the remastered.
version.
None of this remastered shit.
Get the 360 base version.
The 360 version, so I can look at some really bad pop-in texture.
Get the Switch version with Link. The Link outfit.
I will say, to go back onto the Cyberpunk thing, the cool thing about Cyberpunk, though, and I'm absolutely not saying that you don't want to play it or you don't want to play it at launch. Like, you should not do that. I'm not trying to talk you into it. But as far as the time thing, like, it's a single-player game. So, like, I feel different that, like, I get down on when I play Destiny, because if I don't do the upkeep of Destiny and then I want to play with friends, I kind of feel like I've let them down by not getting a certain weapon or not getting. Yeah. That's not going to be present with Cyberpunk, which is like the exciting part for me. I'm excited to play another single player kind of offline game that if I want to spend 30 hours doing bullshit side missions, I can do that, and it's not affecting like. It's like we can still trade stories, but I'm not worried about being like, oh, I can't play with you because I'm not at that level, or I don't have that mission, or I didn't unlock that.
Well,
so that's
when I'm not playing Destiny, I think my plan was to play Gears Tactics and then move on to either Assassin's Creed or Cyberpunk, whichever. Like if Cyberpunk's getting all these amazing reviews and everybody's saying how amazing it is, then like I'm gonna get it. But like
that hype train will be hit pretty hard.
do we know that it's going to get the Series X upgrades right away?
No,
Is it
it's
supposed
not.
to get
It's
No.
Early
series.
2021.
Yeah, early.
Okay. So see, I mean, it's like, to be fair, it's not even worth playing until that point, because
Well, it's
I
gonna
don't
have
know.
the.
I mean,
it's
I
gonna
guess
have. It's gonna
I
have
mean, it looks
small.
incredible already.
They said it's gonna have small Series X enhancements at launch, but the major enhancements are coming early 2021.
Yeah, the ray
So
tracing
we'll
will
have
come next year.
It will have
Okay.
some sort of Series X functionality.
Okay.
So, I guess I shouldn't say I'm not excited for it. It's not going to be a launch game for me.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I'm really jonesing for something different this time around.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy the same games I always do. Like, Halo or Battlefield coming out would have ensured that I was buying an FPS at launch.
Yeah.
But this is the first time since probably the GameCube that I haven't bought a shooter at launch.
Mhm.
Well, I guess I am technically buying the Destiny expansion, but I pre-ordered that months ago.
Yeah,
For the exclusive
War.
in-game stuff. I'm really bad about in-game cosmetics, even if I'm not going to use them. It's like, oh, I really want these because I'm going to end up regretting not having it when everybody has the freeze tag emote and is playing around on Europa.
Yeah.
So I'm weak. I'm going to buy it. I want the season pass up front. I don't want to pay every 3 months for one.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So yeah, this is the first time I won't buy a full price FPS at launch unless they magically do Crossfire X's campaign on launch day. Then that will absolutely be my launch game then.
Yeah.
If they do
Yeah.
that, because I'll get whatever I have to for
I
Remedy.
cannot wait for that.
Yeah. The
I
way
cannot wait.
the thing is though, like the way you guys are about Halo is the way I am about Gears. So like Gears Tactics
fair.
is like the best possible second launch game for me.
Well, and I'll be honest, like I love Halo and I love Gears. I do lean towards Halo a little bit more. But the thing is like, for me, like, Gears Tactics is kind of the way that I want to experience Gears. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I love, like, when me and Corey were playing through it, I had fun, like, if you look beyond all the BS glitches and crap that we had to deal with. But, like, I like playing games, like, like I've said multiple times, the reason I am an Xbox person for the most part is because, like, my gaming is mostly like with people, and I'm a social gamer, and Xbox is always focused on social gaming first, and story driven kind of games kind of second. Like, I mean, they're definitely changing that. I feel like they're trying to focus on both now, quite a bit. But for me, yeah, like I don't know, like I love Gears and Halo, but like I really am looking forward to playing Gears in the tactics kind of way, because it's like a lot of people like what's the what are the tactic games that the shooter
XCOM.
Yeah, XCOM. A lot of people like those. I tried it and I just couldn't quite get into it. I think there's at a certain point it becomes a little too complex that it just kind of loses me in some ways, where I just didn't I just couldn't really enjoy it as much as other people. But Gears Tactics feels a little bit more like kind of entry level, I guess you could say, like where it doesn't matter like how good or how much that type of game, that you could probably jump in and just kind of figure it out. Whereas with XCOM, for me, I not being used to that kind of game, I really was having a hard time kind of figuring out, like, how things really work in that. I'll be honest, with Mutant Year Zero, I kind of had some issues with certain things too, where I wasn't quite quite sure what what I was doing wrong, that it just felt like I was
That game is
not
incredibly
doing
difficult.
very good at that game.
Mutant Year Zero is incredibly difficult, even on easy. Like it's difficult, but
Yeah.
Gears Tactics, from what I played, is just a more aggressive XCOM. Like the depth is there. Like the customization options for each soldier it's ridiculous. Like it's you can get so granular with like their armor and their like even cosmetically you can go into like their eye color, their face shape, their hair, like their hairstyle. Like it's ridiculous. You could spend probably like 2 play sessions just customizing your troops just to go into that.
Is it as hard as XCOM is? Because see, like there was a difficulty to XCOM where I wasn't quite understanding things. Like I said, kind of like Mutant Year Zero was, where it just wasn't quite sure. Like
it's definitely not as hard as Mutant Year Zero.
Okay.
It's probably about on the level as XCOM, but it rewards rewards you for being smart and aggressive, but you have to be both or you're just going to get annihilated type thing.
Okay.
So,
well, Game Pass. I'm not paying for it. I'll be able to play it and see if I like it, and or whatever. If it doesn't, for some reason, just doesn't do it for me, then so be it. I didn't have to, waste $60.
Yeah. Wow. Now that we're kind of like an hour into the show. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think people are going to jump on this box the way, because like the topic I thought the show was going to be about was like the PlayStation 5 event happened this week, and they announced price and they announced games and they had the price and the pre-order debacle. Like I thought we were going to kind of talk about that a little bit and how it was going to compare to what Xbox is doing now. By the way, controllers are $60 for Xbox. I was shocked that those controllers didn't go up in price. I think they actually went down in price by $5. But how did you think the PlayStation 5 event went? And do you think their prices are right? Do you think like Xbox price wise is going to compete well with Sony? Like, what do you guys think?
Okay, so this was my thought. Like, obviously we won't really know the full specs of it until these consoles are being tested. But just on paper, and a lot of people who know a heck of a lot more about hardware and things like that have been saying that the Series X is going to be quite a bit more powerful than the PS5. And so when you put that into consideration, I honestly think that the margin of loss between the Series X and the PS5 are a lot less loss towards the PS5, if any. I'm almost so I think like what you're paying right now for the PS5 is probably fair, but I would say that what you're paying for the Series X is a good deal, whereas the PS5 is just fair. The discless one is definitely a great great, that's a great deal, because there's no way that a disc drive is worth $100 less, So I mean, I do think that is definitely where their best deal is, but we don't know yet whether that's got the same amount of hard drive or not, because they never really specified, I don't think, on that. So that's
it
what
does
I
have the same hard drive.
It does? Okay.
Yes.
The same
It's
amount.
the exact same console minus the 4K drive.
Okay. All right, because they never really specified whether it had the same exact amount of hard drive space or any of that kind of stuff in it. They just, they didn't really touch on it at all. But so yeah. But then and then I think the $300 for the Series S, I think is a good deal. I'm not quite sure if it's like a really, really good deal. I think it is a good deal. It is going to move consoles at that price. That's an easy price to take in, but, again, we gotta see these things kind of out in the wild being used and stuff to really, I think, really get the idea of them. Because when you look at the specs of the Series S and you see only the lower numbers of things and stuff, to just regular people, it might seem like it is way too underpowered. But what we don't know is that it's really a different, they mentioned this, I think, at some point, that someone did that, the difference between even the 1X and the Series S, it seems like it's very, very low powered even compared to the Series or the 1X, but it's a completely different system that inside. So they're saying that the reason that this might be so much lower is because of the way that things are made. It doesn't necessarily need the teraflops, that the 1X needed to do what it did. But that's the thing, though, is it's really hard to say until we really get to see stuff, happening. And kind of to full circle to what we talked about in the beginning is, I hope we do get to see some stuff here before they come out. So, but all in all, I definitely think that all the prices are at least fair to a great deal. So
I'm curious if PlayStation had slides of other prices ready, and they were waiting. There was clearly a game of chicken happening. This, just the logistics of being we just got prices.
I know, 7 weeks from launch, 8 weeks from launch, and we're just getting prices.
That's kind of crazy for something that's a significant investment for people. You know what I mean? A lot of, especially when you think about kids and Christmas and stuff like that, they got to start bugging grandma, grandpa, and their parents way earlier. And they're well, how much is it? Be I don't know. Be where do I get it? I'm I don't know. It's well, when does it come out? Be we don't know. That's a lot of I don't knows for that quickly. So I'm curious if, and I think it's confirmed. I don't know, confirmed, but Microsoft is taking a loss on the console, and I think PlayStation is as well, especially if you consider R&D and things like that. But I'm curious how much they wanted to charge, because I do think that Microsoft forced their hand. They can't charge more. If they would have charged $100 more per console, I don't want to say it's dead in the water, but we know what happened with the PlayStation 3, and I don't think people would want to spend that much, especially if there's a more powerful console for less.
And especially because the games that people are looking forward to place on PlayStation 5, well, a couple of them are even coming to PlayStation 4, so why would you even,
correct.
People who are on the fence already are why would I get a new console for Spider-Man or Horizon when they're going to be on PlayStation 4? Which shocked me, by the way, that Horizon is coming.
Yes.
Spider-Man, not so much, because, it's already on an existing engine and stuff that runs on PlayStation 4, but Horizon, I can't believe that game's coming to PlayStation 4. That game must be closer than we think it is.
I hate to say it, but because I remember when we were talking about this and stuff, and when we got that first showing of the PlayStation games, and what did I say to you guys off camera? I said, I'm not convinced that these games that they're showing couldn't be on the PS4. I don't think that. Like, I think that they're gonna say that these games will be on the PS5 and won't be on PS4 only if they choose it to be that way, not that it can't be on the PS4.
Well, I mean,
that's what I said.
Every
but
single
then
console
now
launch, though.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
know,
know.
but just the way they were making things, the way they were coming at it, like, saying, hey, that we're making it seem like these games that they were going to make were not going to be, for the old consoles. And like, I just was like, I don't.
I mean, so you can flip-flop that for a second. I'm going to devil's advocate with you for just a moment.
Yeah.
Because I think that both them and Microsoft had contingency plans if the other did something. I think Sony always planned for those games because really Miles Morales and Horizon are being built in the exact same engines that they were on PS4. So it makes sense they could run on that. Had Microsoft not announced, hey, we're going to put our games on Xbox for the next year, that Sony would have come out and been like, hey, we don't believe in forcing you to upgrade. So for the first 6 months, all of our Sony exclusive titles are going to come, and next summer you're going to get Gran Turismo 7 as the first truly next-gen game. We're going to let you ease into this. Either way, it was a PR win for either company. Sony is still keeping that real close to the chest. Like, they put it in the press release, but unless you go read that or you read it on gaming websites, you're not going to realize it.
Yeah.
Normal consumers are not going to see that. They're going to be like, oh, I have to buy a PS5 for these. I got to run out and get one of these opening day. Because I want Miles Morales. Because I want Horizon when it comes out. They're going to be in for kind of a rude awakening when they realize, oh crap, Ratchet and Clank is next gen only, but Horizon comes out after that and isn't. So it's interesting how that line's going to get drawn. Xbox at least has been like, hey, for at least the first year, like everything's going to be cross. I guarantee you that if Fable comes out next fall, it's going to come out one day after the 1 year anniversary, so they can say, nope, we honored our commitment.
Yeah, see, a game like that where we haven't had one in such a long time, I feel like they would feel like they would owe it to us to make that a true next gen game, just because they, like, we've been waiting so long that, like, I would imagine most people are thinking, okay, well, you've had so much time off between the last time you made one of these games that you have to have all this stuff that you've kind of been either sitting on or like there's been conversations about, and that you would imagine that this would it's got to be a big game, not necessarily in size, but like it's just like there's a lot to it, and I just don't think that like making it something that could technically run on this gen's console would be a good idea, for them to do.
I mean, so again, playing devil's advocate, like I've heard people arguing that for a while now, like, oh, there's no way the game like Fable or Avowed could come to the current gen. I want you to look me dead ass in the eye and tell me that Cyberpunk 2077 is being held back by current gen. Yeah. Like, that, if you can make something look that good, like, you could still do it. Not that I'm saying I want it, but you can still feasibly do it. I would prefer a fully next-gen experience, though, for a marquee title like Fable. Hell, I would have preferred it for Halo, personally.
To me, Avowed looked like an Xbox One game. I'm like, this is definitely coming to Xbox One.
So it's funny, like, Avowed was one of the first games when they put up the marketing stuff afterwards that had no mention of Xbox One at all. That and Fable did not. Other games that had it, like we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, like have had that like conspicuously removed.
Yeah. And
I think Microsoft, like as they start to see their development timelines altered, the longer and longer this virus goes on, are like, okay, well, games are obviously, even if they're not saying it, games are being pushed even out of probably fall 2021 at this point to avoid crunch. I think it's a very tall order to hope to see Hellblade 2 next year at this point, considering we still have yet to see actual gameplay of that game. Like, that's probably not coming next fall at this point. There's still a chance, obviously, but the fact they didn't show even another trailer at the Xbox briefing in July, and it was just like, oh, here's a dev diary from Iceland.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Well,
really give me a whole lot of hope.
Yeah.
well, I think the thing is too that we've got to remember, especially with Hellblade 2, is like they're focusing on the new Unreal Engine for that game. Now they can make most of it already, but I still think that there's going to be a lot that they have to do over or test when they move it over into the next thing that it probably
the cool
would
thing
have
about
like
Unreal
at least
5
another
is-
year.
Yeah, the cool thing about Unreal 5 is it's going to go commercial next summer. They're planning on the first big AAA games to come out probably end of summer 2021, and I do think that Hellblade is likely going to be one of the first games that does that.
Yeah.
But we have to remember, like, first-party timelines are going to be drastically altered right now. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if things like Sackboy or Destruction All-Stars might have been planned to have been... Well, we know Sackboy's cross-gen, but I wouldn't have been shocked if Destruction All-Stars wasn't originally planned for PS4 this year, and they were just like, let's hold it and put it out on PS5. That's the one that surprises me you're not making cross-gen. Because I don't know how many people are going to buy that for a PS5, but...
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is
arguing-
like launch games do well, right? It doesn't.
Right. I've been arguing for a while that I think that the launch game slate is far less important to people like us who already were going to buy day one, regardless if Halo came or not, or regardless if Miles Morales came or not, as opposed to the casual gamer who's going to look at the games to come out this fall. They're going to see their friends playing it and be like, I need that. And that's what's going to compel them to purchase in Q1 and Q2, leading up to E3. Because next spring is probably going to be pretty light on the exclusives for Xbox. Let's be honest. If Flight Sim doesn't make it out this year, you got Flight Sim, and fingers crossed we get Halo. That's probably it until E3. Other than that, because Psychonauts is a multi-plat.
Yeah, a lot. I mean,
it's an Xbox Game Studios title.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like a lot of studios they purchase are still making multi-platform games at some point.
Psychonauts should be the final one of that, outside of anything Minecraft related. Because they have been really quiet on if they're going to allow Outer Worlds when it gets a sequel to go to other platforms. I think Microsoft is going to be like, nope, screw it, we want that too. We let y'all have the first one because Private Division was publishing it, but we have the rights now. Nope, forget it. You want it, play on PC or Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, in the way Sony is playing their hand, business wise, very well.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, like it would really be stupid of Microsoft to not make it exclusive moving forward because Sony has been doing a lot of things that they're just kind of taking out from under Xbox kind of, and
I mean Sony has that
they're gonna have to start doing something like similar to compete.
When they own a studio like that though, and they're not making money on the consoles, why wouldn't it make sense for them just to release it with multi-platform? They're making more money.
I mean,
I definitely go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's their strategy on PC, right? Where like we're gonna sell the games on Steam, but if you have Game Pass, you can get it from the Microsoft Store, and like we're still getting your money.
Yeah. So I like that philosophy, and I mean it makes sense that it took. I can't believe it took this long to get games consistently on PC from Microsoft. That's just really weird to me after how Halo 2 and Gears did originally. I can't believe we weren't doing this at the beginning of the generation. We had a few isolated instances like Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive, but it wasn't really until not even Sea of Thieves, until Forza and Gears 5 that we really started seeing day-and-date releases. And now we're kind of seeing that on the backside. It's like, well, why isn't Flight Sim out? Why isn't Age of Empires being confirmed for same day? Like, I have my own conspiracies on Flight Sim that they simply just cannot get that thing to run on Xbox One acceptably. And they're just going to be hopefully like slip the news out like, hey, if you want to play this, you got to have a Series X or a Series S. Okay, thanks, bye.
But I think that game technologically, I think people would understand that that's the reason is because that game.
You would think so, but gamers, especially in there, are such a fickle bunch. You have I have no idea how people would react to that. Yeah. To me, that's just more cannon fodder.
Okay, smart people would understand.
Yeah,
the average person will understand. Non-console warriors will get it. Yeah. As for releasing other IPs from studios that you bought, I understand the argument to put them on other consoles, and I do think that it's the right thing to do if you purchase a studio with a game in development for other platforms, or that is a sequel to something on other platforms, like Psychonauts. Psychonauts and Wasteland were crowdfunded before Microsoft bought Double Fine and In Exile. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you're already really deep in development on these games. You've already publicly announced it for other platforms. We're going to let you finish those out. Yeah. If there's a Psychonauts 3, that 100% is going to be exclusive to Xbox. If there's a Wasteland 4, it'll be exclusive to Xbox and PC. Like, they've been real coy about Outer Worlds because, I mean, one, I don't even think they're in production on other Outer Worlds right now. They're still doing DLCs. But that is also something like Microsoft has been really clear. Like, they want those Bethesda-style addictive gameplay loop games for them. That's why they're doing Avowed. That's why they're doing Grounded. That's why they're working on, Outer Worlds content. So the only one to me that it makes sense, and like let's not kid ourselves, Wasteland and Psychonauts are not going to be like games that sell 3-4 million copies. No. They'll be happy to sell 2 across the lifetime, across 3 or 4 platforms. But something like Minecraft, for example, you're going to keep bringing those games, like Minecraft Dungeons is something new in that universe. You're going to bring that out there because it's Minecraft. You're going to make such a shitload of money on anything with that name on it. Why wouldn't you do it? I could care less if that's a multi-plat. Yeah, well, and the thing is too that they've kind of said about that is, like they didn't feel like a game like Minecraft or something, like it would be fair to lock that to a specific console, because it's not the people who are buying the consoles who are playing that, it's their kids, and their kids don't have a choice. Right. Well, it's not even that. It's that it already existed on another platform, so why wouldn't you continue to make that available? Like, I mean, conspiracy headphones, I think that when they release 4K ray tracing of Minecraft, it's going to be exclusive to Xbox for a while. Yeah. Because why wouldn't you want to make Series S the place to be like, hey, you can play all your free-to-play games or all your cheap games that your kid loves, like Fortnite and Minecraft and Apex, the best way possible over here, with Game Pass and things like that. Because, and kids aren't going to care about ray tracing. Like that's the thing. And you wanna give that experience to the people who are buying the consoles, not their kids. Their kids could care less about ray tracing. Like they're like that's the thing is they could definitely hold something like that. And that's what I'm kind of circling around to. Like, because I want to get my thoughts in on the S and X real quick on their pricing compared to PS5. Mm-hmm. I think the S is a great bargain priced console, like I said on our reactions, for kids and families. Yeah. Because a lot of parents are going to go out to the store. They're going to see that that's the cheapest console on the market, and they're going to buy that. That's what little Timmy is getting from Santa this year, is the thing that mom and dad could afford. They're going to see something promoted like Game Pass, or even like the All Access deal, which I still think is really good. They're going to be like, okay, this is going to cost us more in the long run, but we're paying for it kind of like a cell phone or like an HBO plan. We're paying $20-25 a month. They're getting an entire library of games. We don't have to buy them a single game for 2 years. They can play their Warzone. They can play Fortnite. They can play Roblox. They can download all these games for free and play those. But they still have a library of games. And hey, if mom and dad want to play a game after Timmy's gone to bed early, they can go on and play something like Dead by Daylight or, play Box or something like that. They can still get their 4K media streaming through it, because media streaming on that is going to be up-res. They've confirmed.
I will say that if little Timmy and his family gets an Xbox while their family walks in and says like, this is the cheapest one, and I don't get one on day one,
I know, I'm gonna be so mad.
Okay, well, I'm using it as a hyperbolic example, but
Timmy's going down.
Right. So in regards to that, I think that is regardless if it's more powerful than the One X, which it is more powerful than the One X. They have completely different CPUs and GPUs. Like, it is actually more powerful, even if it doesn't hit 4K. That's fine. Not everything needs to hit 4K. This is targeted towards the people who do not care. Believe it or not, there are grown adults who do not care about hitting 4K. That is a console warrior thing, or people who care about graphical fidelity beyond all else.
You want to stay in the loop, and you want to play the games that are coming out.
Right. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, that's why we're buying it as our second one, and I'm not buying 2 mini fridges on day one. But I think that price point is super appealing. What I do think conflicts with that is when you look at the PS5 digital edition, which is the exact same specs for $100 less, or $100 more than the Series S, it's like, then I think you have parents going, well, for $100 more though, we could get this, and we've heard all these great things about PlayStation for years. They have things that we might enjoy on this, and it puts out at the same, hey, maybe like this and that. Like, I'm personally buying the digital edition as my second console, but like taking out that Blu-ray drive does actually save you that much money. 4K Blu-ray players are still like $200-$300. That's a big deal to take that drive out that a lot of people just aren't going to use. Media is going more and more digital and streaming. Again, especially y'all telling me that there's an Apple TV app available on Xbox, which I didn't freaking know. Like,
it is not available on the Xbox yet.
God dang it.
Well, in 4K, so 4K Blu-rays are the first physical media that I have never bought a single one of yet. So, huh?
Did you buy HD DVD?
I did.
No, I did not. No.
Of course you did, Corey. You had the little add-on for Xbox.
I got the first 2 Harry Potter movies. I got Polar Express, and I got what else did I get? I think I got
King Kong with it.
I think I got I got King Kong. I got The Italian Job, and I got there was one other movie that I got that was really bad. Because if you bought the add-on thing for the 360, you got 5 free movies plus King Kong in the box.
Yeah.
Well,
listen, I love my 4K Blu-ray. I'm one of a handful of people that was clamoring for that drive to be in these consoles. Yeah. I love watching those movies on my 1S right now. It's the cheapest player on the market by far. I really, really like it, but I do acknowledge it's not that popular of a medium except for cinephiles. So, like, that's kind of great for me, but hey, if you don't need it, the PS5 digital edition and the Series S, that's for you, man. If you don't want that disc drive, if you don't care about specs on paper to argue with Johnny down at the store, then you're good. If you're not planning on getting into a Twitter fight or, a reset era argument, I think you're okay. But these consoles, even at $500, for no matter which one you go with, PS5 or Series X, they are a steal for the specs in them. You cannot build a PC for that with those specs for under $1,000 right now at this exact moment in time. These are comparable with before the 3080 was announced, these were comparable with mid-spec PCs. And that's great. Like, you really don't need a whole lot more power than that. Even the most powerful PCs really aren't giving you that much more right now than what you can achieve on those consoles. That gap will grow the farther we go into this generation, as it always does. But this is the closest we've ever been to having PC console parity. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you're looking at that, I think the services are better on Xbox personally. It is undeniable at this point that PlayStation has the better exclusives, in my opinion. Like, if you want those intense story-driven games, if you largely play by yourself, I think PlayStation is the absolute perfect one for you to pick up first. I cannot in good conscience say, if you're looking at games this fall, based on what's coming to both of them exclusives-wise, you should not invest in a PS5 first. But I think Jesse really hit on this earlier. If you care about multiplayer games, if you care about value, you care about service, I think you're going to go Xbox ultimately. Like, that's why I'm going to speak for myself here. That's why I'm still going, is I'm so locked into that Game Pass ecosystem right now. I'm so locked in on Destiny with my friends. I want to play my multiplats on there because I enjoy the controller more. Like, things like that matter to me, even with a new DualSense controller that looks like it's going to play a lot like the Switch Pro controller. I still really, really like the Xbox ecosystem. My friends are staying in it. I'm staying there. My girlfriend likes playing there. I have no reason to switch right now. I'll pick one up for the exclusives in the spring. There's no way I'm going more than 6 months without playing Miles Morales. But right now, like, when it comes down to it, I don't think you can go wrong with either of these consoles at this price point. The differences are going to be so minuscule for the first 2 to 3 years on multi-platform games that, like, sure, PS5 doesn't have the teraflops. Teraflops don't matter that much. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, it's all in how
like I was saying. Yeah, like I was saying, it really, the thing is we're looking at a completely different setup compared to what the PS4 and the One X and stuff was. So it's like there's some differences to whether that matters as much.
There's differences, but I would also argue that as close as these consoles are to PC, this is also probably the closest that these two consoles have ever been in power. Because the original Xbox was more powerful than the PS2. The PS3 was technically, on paper, I think a little bit more powerful than the 360. The PS4 was more powerful than the base VHS-looking Xbox One. The One X was more powerful than PS4 Pro. It's always been back and forth. There's always going to be a slight power difference, and honestly, it's all in teams how they want to optimize it. Like, Assassin's Creed isn't even trying at this point. They're like, well, we're aiming for 30 frames.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're aiming for 30 frames on a machine that can go up to 120. Like, that says more about you than this console.
I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey runs at higher frame rate than that on the One X.
Well, that's what they've said. And so I'm like, well,
no, I know
cool.
that. That's
Thanks
why I'm
for that,
waiting.
guys.
That's I'm like, I'm purchasing a console. Most games are going to run at 60 frames. I'm expecting Assassin's Creed to run at 60 frames a second, and you're telling me it's 30. And
Well, I thought that this last the last show that they had, they said that it was going to be 60 on the new consoles.
If there is, I haven't seen it.
yeah, I haven't seen it either, but whatever.
Because it wasn't at the last show.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, I don't
just,
know. It very well could have changed, but I mean, the amount of I think we're making a bigger deal out of 120 frames that these consoles can go up to than we should be right now. There's going to be approximately 3 games at launch, that can go up to that, and that is Dirt 5, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and the multiplayer in Gears 5. That is it.
Well, the problem is I've now that I've switched over to playing on a computer screen versus a TV. Like all I honestly need is 60 frames.
Yeah.
Because I want 4K, because like when I'm playing on this and I switch it to anything lower than 4K, it is a very noticeable difference, and I do not like.
There is a massive gulf between 4K and 1080.
Yeah,
like 4K literally is double the resolution. Like there is a big difference between 2K and 4K. I think there's less. Like I really like the option of the S, even for people who are techies, because if you're targeting the most stable frame rates, that's probably where you're going to get it, because it's going to be a lot of games will be locked at 1440, 60 frames. Yeah. And it still has the power to go up to 120, and I think that's remarkable for that small box. Yeah. There's no wrong answer here for what you want to play. Like, I really think the One S is targeted towards those families, towards little Timmy, towards Game Pass Gary, like whoever you want to call. Like, that's who it's targeted towards. The Series X it's targeted towards reset your own body and people like that who want to argue with Sony fanboy 420. Like that's who these consoles are targeted.
You're getting Timmy's hopes up. Timmy, if you're listening, we can't promise you.
Dude, if Timmy and Gary get boxes before any of us do, they're going down.
Just saying. Like, there are clear audiences for each of these boxes, and I really like what Microsoft and Sony are doing. They're lowering the entry price to next gen, which is something neither of them have ever done before. Microsoft tried it once with the arcade unit through the Xbox 360, and everyone found out, no, you need a hard drive like almost immediately.
Yeah,
512 megabytes. Nowhere, even on that console.
Those little plug-in memory cards weren't cutting it.
I have one of those. I found it in my old game box when I was going through it the other day, talking to Corey. I found it. I meant to send you a picture of it.
I found my Perfect Dark Zero faceplate too, at my parents'.
Oh jeez.
Oh my god. You remember customizable faceplates for the 360?
Yeah, those
I thought that
cool.
was
I had the wood grain
thing
one.
I'd ever seen when they showed it, and I saw them in stores like maybe twice.
Oh, they were all over Toys
I had
R
the
Us
blue
on
one.
clearance. At one point, they were on clearance at Toys R Us for like $3 a piece.
Did you buy a bunch of them, Corey?
No, I didn't. I got the Perfect Dark Zero and the Final Fantasy 13 one.
That shows you how much I know about those. I didn't know they made any past the launch year.
Yeah, they
So
yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't even remember those at all. But like I was still PC gaming at that time, though. Mostly, like I did get a 64, but I was mostly focused on PC stuff yet at that time.
So, like, I guess ultimately, to wrap up my thoughts, like, I don't think there's any wrong console to buy if you're looking at any of them. But even if you want to stay within just PlayStation or you want to stay just within Microsoft, like, there's really no wrong way. And the fact that xCloud has expanded to, to Android and they're aiming to have it on other screens, like, I wouldn't be surprised to see, Game Pass streaming on PC a la Stadia pretty soon, or
Samsung
other,
TV.
yeah, through Samsung TV. Yeah, I got really hopeful when they added support for the Xbox gamepads last year for Apple Arcade, and then the adaptive controller earlier this year. Being like, oh my god, if I can get a Game Pass app through my Apple TV 4K box, like, awesome. I'm not even going to buy a second Xbox at that point. But obviously that's not happening. So if you're telling me I can get an Apple app through my Xbox eventually, but not on my Apple TV, gotcha, guys. The barrier's never been lower though. If you have a Samsung phone, or a tablet, you can just boot it up right now, or an Android phone altogether, I guess. So it's great. I play wherever you want, play whatever you want. The end. There's value to everything.
Yeah, I will own both boxes eventually, but
I plan on owning both within the first 6 months, frankly.
Yeah,
that's my goal.
At this point, I'm like, look, I said I would buy a PlayStation 5 when Horizon came out, and it's still probably looking like what's going to happen.
Yeah. My goal was Horizon at the latest, and now with God of War coming next year, it's like, okay, I need to get one long before either of those games, because I think it's going to get increasingly harder. I don't think supply chain issues will not be resolved next year. This is going to continue to be an issue next year.
Yeah, I think they're saying like at least November, October of next year that we're still going to be living life the way we are right now.
They're going to be playing, and I mean, so like in America, like the supply chains are starting to recover now, but they're still warning, like, we got to be really cautious with this, and I don't know, Sony, for example, is booking 60 737s to ship consoles by air to the U.S. to make launch. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever shipped anything by overnight air or overseas. It's insanely expensive just for one small package. They're paying a small king's ransom to get consoles here in time.
Wasn't it? Didn't they say like Sony was like flying 747s full of PlayStations over here at some point or something?
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
sorry, I was making sure my Wario 64 notifications were being pushed towards my phone.
Oh, yeah, I check that obsessively every time I go to the bathroom at this point.
So.
But yeah, it's crazy like what they're trying to do to get these here. Because if you ship something on a boat, it takes like over a month to get here, at least. So who knows what's going to happen here? Just God willing, everybody gets a console ordered on Tuesday. If I don't get either one, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to cry, and I
will settle for one of them. If I can get one of them, I'll settle for it. If I can't get either, I'm going to freak out.
I'm going to find out where Game Pass Gary lives, and I'm going to take him down.
You take Gamepad Gary, I got Timmy and his family.
Yeah, his whole family.
His whole family. If your name is Timmy,
we know that his parents have the money, but Timmy's the value.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're named Gary or Timmy and you need somebody to talk to, do not talk to Colonel Panic or Corey. Do not share your location with them.
I'll go a step further. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
In general, regardless if you're Timmy or Gary.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Best Buy and hop on the intercom.
If I don't
Timmy, please come to the front.
Hey, at least there's one guy we don't have to deal with right now, and that's Halo Harold. Okay.
Halo Harold. Dude,
I say that in jest, but I have genuinely seen a lot of people that I know online be like, I'm not upgrading until Halo has a date.
I'm gonna be so upset if I don't get, like, this is the first time I've actually been upset. Like I took a day off.
Ever?
Yeah, ever. Just ever. I'm gonna be so upset if I don't get one of these stupid boxes.
I liked it better when everyone hated Xbox and it was really super easy to get things.
It's like I took the day off to go stand in line to pre-order my Switch, and then I went to go stand in line to purchase my Switch, and that was like, I was like, I'm never doing this again. But now I'm like, I'm feeling it, man. I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, guys.
We're all gonna get one. It'll be all right.
Judgment Day,
Yeah.
man. Like I feel like I'm in the end of the first act or the first half of Les Mis when all the characters are singing about what's going to happen during the revolution the next morning.
Are we all
Phil
kind
Spencer
of in?
listens to this, and he's gonna make sure we.
Yeah, Phil. Look, Phil. You and I, we're pals, right? We play Forza, we play Destiny together, right? We're fire team pals. All right. Look, I know you've just got boxes sitting on your shelf. Literally, we saw it. Somebody circled it in an IGN video. You never guess what blip blip he had on his shelf. Just look. We're your favorite podcast. I will give you. I will mail you $500 cash for one of these boxes, Phil Spencer.
I won't.
Phil. Come on.
At least,
Come on.
At least do it in a cashier's check, so that.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna send it.
Money
I'm gonna
isn't-
send it all in pennies, just if I can't pre-order one. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna mail this big box full of pennies to the Microsoft Corporation. Attention, Phil Spencer. It's just gonna be a box of pennies. 50,000 pennies.
A truck full, just a truck. Truck backs up.
Yeah, Phil. Like, listen, we're homies. I know you listen to the show. I know you tune in the Fire Team chat every week with the Earl himself.
Yes.
But not Fire Team chat. God, Tower Casuals.
Whoa.
Wrong
Whoa.
The
Whoa.
superior Destiny show is the Tower Casuals here on Boss Rush Games.
Hey,
Every
Colonel.
Friday,
Colonel.
every
There's
Friday.
a seat open on Tower Casuals now. Do you want to be the
Yeah, that's
co-host?
fine.
I know you listen to. Listen, I've been drinking. Okay. It's been a long week, everyone, and these pre-order anxieties are not helping at all. But listen, what do I have to do to whom in order to get one of these consoles? This can get not fit for work real fast.
Do I need to buy new knee pads? Like, is this where this is going?
What do I got? What do I got to do?
Oh man, I'm gonna try to buy 2 or 3 of these consoles. Easy to get.
I'm like,
favors.
Hey, it sounds like an overreaction. We saw the Crossroads crew when they're getting ready to record and then pre-orders go up. Like, I'm just genuinely terrified that somebody is going to break the embargo and all hell is going to break loose.
It won't happen.
If that happens, does Microsoft just keep the consoles for themselves then?
I mean,
No, I don't
are
know.
we okay? So, are we all in agreement that Best Buy is probably the best way to go about this
Yes.
in-store
I-
pickup for Best Buy?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think if you it depends on if you want to get the console
Day one.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Best Buy's probably going to be your best bet.
I want to pick
Yeah.
it
I
up
would
on my
rather
way
get
home
it
from
from
work.
Best Buy for in-store pickup than have to sit there by my door all day waiting for my online GameStop or Amazon order just to get the email of your console may not arrive day one due to shipping and COVID-19 related restrictions.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
in all
and-
fairness, though, we just went from talking about we hope that we just get one and that there's no issues. So I don't care how it comes to me.
Listen, if I
how
have to,
late the
if I
day.
have to wait, I'll wait. But if
Yeah.
if I get a preference, I want in-store pickup. I don't
Yeah.
want to sit there because I think sitting there waiting like Scott Pilgrim by my door
No.
is even worse.
I have another question. I don't care how long this podcast is. Does Best Buy charge you right away?
No, so they'll do a credit authorization check, and the hold will stay on your account for 2-3 days, and then it'll fall off, and then they'll charge you again a couple days before pickup.
They periodically charge you throughout that process.
Oh yeah, they keep checking to make sure you have the money in the account. So make sure you have like $600 just hanging out there.
Yes. So the short answer is yes.
Yes, but no. But yes.
Amazon does not.
I know
GameStop
Amazon does not.
Does not.
GameStop and Amazon both charge you when it ships. Best Buy will keep doing the credit checks, but we're so close to release, I don't see them doing more than maybe one during that period.
Yeah.
And then they'll charge you when they ship the console or when you pick it up in store is when the charge will go through on your card. Other places like Target, I don't believe charges you until it ships. They do the same credit check as Best Buy. And God only knows about Walmart. I don't shop at Walmart, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just had one more thing quick to touch on. Okay, so let me get this right. So if for $24, a month if you decide for 24 months if you decide to do the paying route. That includes the console and Game Pass Ultimate, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now Game Pass Ultimate is $15 a month, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so technically, if you really want to get technical with it, the amount you're paying per month for 24 months, if you are already going to get Game Pass, you're technically only paying $10 for 24 months for the console, which comes out to $240. So you're technically saving a little bit of money buying the console that way. You're
Yes,
saving 60
you will.
bucks.
You'll technically save a little bit of money if you do all access either way.
Yeah.
If you plan on getting the 2 years Game Pass, the only thing I
So
caution people against with doing that, like I think it's a great option for those who can't fork out the $300 or $500 respectively at launch.
Yeah.
But if you have the money to and you still want to use Game Pass, unless it's the only avenue left, which it is highly likely it could be, I'm fully prepared to have to pay $35 a month for 2 years for my Series X if I have to.
Yeah.
But if you have the money to, I would recommend honestly buying the console first, especially if you've never upgraded to Game Pass and you have a current Gold subscription. They are still doing the $1 deal right now. Switch that bad boy over now. And there are almost always deals on Game Pass Ultimate. I have bought 3 months for $20-$25 more times than I can count.
Yeah.
And I have just stacked those codes up, so I'm gonna Game Pass through like June 2022, I think. And they have confirmed this will tack 2 years on to anything existing you already have. So
yeah,
it's still a great deal. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you're going by actual suggested retailer amount, it's great. There's almost always sales on Game Pass, and you're nuts if you're going to tell me there's not going to be some sort of deal when Series X and Series S release for Game Pass. Like get 6 months for the price of 3 or something, like some wacky thing. Get a full year for 6 months. We don't have hardly any games right now. Like just jump over and you'll be ready for Halo. I could see them doing like all Game Pass members get access to on Series X and Series S get access to a Halo Infinite multiplayer beta. Like, you want to move consoles day one, that'll move you some consoles.
Could you imagine too if they were just like all of a sudden, the games with the gold, they're just like, here you go, here's Master Chief Collection. Just give the Master Chief Collection away for free.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do something. I think with these boxes, and I think Jesse's prediction on by the time this posts, Monday will already passed, and so will pre-orders.
Actually, by the time this posts, pre-orders will not have gone live yet because it posts on Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern.
So you guys can listen to this in line, listening to us freak out and increasing your own existential dread.
Yes. I like how we just
listen
did like
to this while you're fervently hitting F5.
I like how we just did a 2.5 hour show about us freaking out about pre-orders on this stupid box. That's literally the whole show.
Just call it the before.
Yeah. Man, I'm thinking about just doing like a half-hour segment that like after somebody pre-orders it, and anybody who got their pre-order just come on and talk about their pre-order experience for like a half hour.
I will legitimately get on the internet at my friend Matt's house if I have to do that. I will do it.
I'll be on the internet because I'll be technically at work, but I work from home, so it doesn't really matter.
I will join mobile to freak out.
Oh man, I'm stressed out now. I'm like,
listen. I'm on my second vodka of the show. Okay, it's almost gone. It has gone increasingly downhill. Okay,
there's two.
I was afraid of this.
There's 2 beers in the fridge. I might just chug them before I go to bed so I can sleep tonight.
I still have more cleaning and packing to do tonight. The room of disaster has somewhat cleared, but there are boxes stacked directly behind my chair right now that I'm going to have to move before I can pivot.
Oh man,
This is the last time.
Yeah.
I promise this is the last time I have to talk about my boxes.
Yeah.
10 days. 10 days, my friends.
we are going to wrap the show here. I want to thank everybody for watching live on Twitch this Sunday night. If you are listening to us on podcast services and YouTube, consider checking us out live on Sunday nights if you can. If not, you can head over to YouTube or our website or podcast services on Tuesday mornings, where you can listen to this show while you are in line to pre-order your Xbox. If you are Game Pass Gary or Little Timmy, please write in. We want to know how your experience went this weekend.
Share your location data with us too.
Yeah. Subscribe to our family of shows. Check out our other podcasts, whatever, all that stuff. My brain is not working. Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS.
Joe, where can we find you?
I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to say K3RNL_panic on Twitter. That's the best place. Colonel Panic.
Yeah. Check the notes.
Check the notes.
Josh, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @Josh_Finn. That's Finn with 2 N's, as always. And you can follow me to see my lifetime emotional breakdown while I'm in line on Tuesday morning. You can listen to this pod and subsequently follow my Twitter feed for an existential crisis that will surely set in.
I'm going to live tweet everything on.
I am too. I would say I'm going to live tweet, but I'm paranoid of Best Buy going live while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And I'll be mobile. So, God, dude, I'm so worked up. Also, Thursday nights, Tower Casuals, guys, come join us. Far less existential dread on that pod.
Mm-hmm. Did Earl finally follow you?
Oh my God! I was saving this for the Tower Casuals this week. Earl of Sandwich finally followed me back this week, guys. On Friday, they followed me back. They listened to the episode because they wanted to know what I would do. Because Corey said that he would go to Earl of Sandwich right now if his wife wasn't going to prevent him. He would fly to Florida for it right now. And I said I would go to war against the armies of Subway, Jersey Mike's, and the dreaded Quiznos, and gave them a Lord of the Rings gift. And I subsequently was rewarded with a follow from the world's greatest hot sandwich.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
It's great. It's a magical moment that is being amplified by the copious amounts of adult liquor in my system.
Versus the child's liquor that's in the other room.
Okay, so listen. When I was a child, my grandma was not always the greatest parent. She took me to the liquor store with her, okay? Just put me in the cart. There were no seats in the liquor store cart. She just put me in there. She'd go in there and she'd buy several bottles of boxed wine, okay? She called Franzia the good stuff. That stuff's basically toilet wine, okay? And we came home, and my aunt was over and was like, "So what you and Grandma do today?" I was like, "We went to the store and bought Grandma's juice." And my grandmother then had to explain to my aunt that boxed wine is Grandma's juice in my terms. It's just great, wonderful things you're teaching a 4-year-old. Great parenting skills, Mom. I love you. Please don't ever listen to this episode.
In Wisconsin, where I'm at, you can probably drink alcohol at 5 years old as long as your parents give them to you.
Jesus.
At the bar.
Jesus.
Jeez. All right. You can find me at IamCortonHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on Nintendo Pavlok and Tower Casuals. Check out our family shows. Go to our website, bossrushgames.com. Like, subscribe, share, rate, review, all that good stuff. Check out our new art. Very proud of the thumbnails and stuff. So actually, I don't really care. Just download the show, rate it. That's all I want. That's really all I want is downloads and numbers and ratings. That's all I want. If you're rating us less than 5 stars, don't bother. I hope everybody out there gets their console of choice if they pre-ordered it. And yeah, good luck. Good luck if you're listening to this on Tuesday. Good luck, everybody, today for getting your pre-order. And we will catch you next time on Arsenal X, where we throw up the X. Because we're panicking about getting these damn boxes. Goodbye, everybody.